planet stretched before Captain Marcus like a wild, untouched world. The sky was a deep purple, dotted with two bright suns that cast strange shadows on the rocky ground. Marcus had landed here to explore, but also to find something new. Something no human had seen before. The crew on his ship was nervous, but Marcus felt calm. This was what he lived for, the unknown. As Marcus stepped out of his ship, the air was thick but breathable. Strange plants with bright colors swayed in a gentle wind. The silence was almost too deep, as if the planet itself was holding its breath. Then, from behind a large rock, a figure appeared. It was a woman, but not like any human woman Marcus had ever seen. She was tall, with skin that shimmered like polished metal, and eyes that glowed softly like amber flames. She moved carefully, but her gaze was sharp and full of warning. Marcus raised his hand slowly to show he meant no harm. The woman's voice was sudden and strong when she spoke, cutting through the silence like a blade. "Touch me once and I won't spare you, human." Marcus froze. Her words were harsh. But there was something in her voice that was more than anger. It was a warning born from pain and experience. Marcus looked into her eyes and saw a story he didn't understand yet. A story of strength and protection. He wanted to say something, to explain who he was and why he was here, but the woman did not move closer. Instead, she stepped back and held a hand up, signaling him to stop. Her body language was tense, ready to defend herself at any moment. Marcus felt a strange respect growing inside him. She was not a creature to be feared, but someone who demanded respect. For a long moment, they just looked at each other. The wind whispered softly, carrying the scent of strange flowers and the dust of the alien soil. Marcus thought about the worlds he had visited before, places full of peace, war, and mystery. But here, on this silent planet, he realized that meeting this woman was the real adventure. Slowly, Marcus lowered his hands and took a step forward. "I'm not here to hurt you," he said quietly. "I want to learn, to understand." The woman's eyes narrowed. She studied him as if trying to see inside his heart. "Many have come before you, speaking of peace and understanding," she said, "but few have shown it." Marcus nodded. He knew trust was not something given easily, especially not to a stranger from another world. But he was ready to try, and show me how to earn it. The woman relaxed just a little, though her warning still hung in the air. "I am Kyra," she said simply, "and this is my home. If you want to stay, you must respect the rules. One wrong move, and I will not hold back." Marcus swallowed, hard but smiled. Understood, Kyra. As the suns began to set, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink, Marcus felt something shift inside him. He was no longer just an explorer. He was a guest in a world where strength was not just muscle, but honor and trust. Kyra's fierce warning was not a threat. It was a test. The night grew cooler, and Marcus knew his real journey was just beginning. The mystery of Kyra, her people, and this strange planet called to him. He wanted to learn everything, to prove that humans could be more than just strangers or invaders. Maybe, just maybe, he could change how two very different worlds saw each other, and all of it started with one simple, powerful sentence: "Touch me once, and I won't spare you." Human. The next morning, the sun rose slowly over the purple horizon, casting soft light on the strange land. Captain Marcus woke early, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. Today he would learn more about Kyra, the fierce woman who had warned him the day before. He wanted to understand her world better. He hoped she might also begin to see him as more than just a stranger. Marcus packed a small bag with some supplies and stepped outside his ship. The air was fresh and cool, carrying the scent of unknown flowers. He saw Kyra waiting nearby, standing, tall and proud. Her eyes shone with the same intensity as before, but now there was something else, a quiet challenge. Without a word, Kyra motioned for Marcus to follow her. He obeyed, curious where she would lead him. They walked over rocky ground and through strange forests filled with tall, twisting trees. Birds with bright feathers sang soft songs above them. Marcus felt like he was walking inside a dream. After some time, Kyra stopped beside a small clearing. In the center was a circle made of smooth stones. This is where my people test those who want to stay, she said quietly. Not with weapons, but with patience and respect. Marcus looked at her, surprised. What kind of test? I asked. Kyra smiled, but it was a serious smile. You must show you can understand us, not just fight. Strength comes from knowing when to listen and when to act. Marcus nodded slowly, thought about the many times humans had used power without understanding. Maybe here, strength was something deeper. I want to learn, he said firmly. Kyra stepped closer and touched the circle with her hand. Then you must follow our ways. You will learn our language, our customs, and how we protect each other. Over the next hours, Kyra began to teach Marcus the basics of her people's language. It was soft and flowing, different from anything Marcus had heard. He repeated the sounds carefully, trying to get them right. Kyra watched with patience, but also a sharp eye for mistakes, as they practiced. Marcus saw something unexpected. Kyra's fierce attitude softened. She laughed quietly. When he made funny sounds, Marcus realized that behind her strong words was a deep kindness. She cared for her people and expected the same from him. Later, Kyra showed Marcus how her people honored their bonds. She explained that trust was the most precious thing they had. When Kyra had said, "Touch me once, and I won't spare you," she meant that trust was earned, and if broken, protection would turn to defense. Marcus listened carefully. He understood now that Kyra's warning was a promise to protect those she loved fiercely. It was a sign of respect, not just anger. As the sun moved across the sky, Marcus and Kyra continued their lessons. They shared stories of their worlds, finding small common points between humans and Kyra's people. Marcus spoke of Earth's oceans and mountains. Kyra told him about the stars her ancestors watched from this planet long ago. By evening, Marcus felt tired but alive. He had learned more in one day than he expected. More important, he felt a new respect growing for Kyra. She was not just a warrior. She was a protector, a teacher, someone who carried the weight of her people's hopes before they parted for the night. Kyra looked at Marcus with eyes that no longer held only warning, but also something like trust. "Tomorrow, the real test begins," she said softly. "Are you ready?" Marcus smiled, feeling stronger than before. "I am ready." That night, as Marcus sat outside his ship, looking up at the twin moons, he thought about the day. The fierce warning, the lessons, and the quiet moments of understanding had changed something inside him. He wasn't just a visitor on this planet anymore. He was becoming part of a story much bigger than himself. A story about trust, courage, and the hope that two different worlds could find a way to walk together. The morning sun peeked over the horizon as Captain Marcus stood ready near the stone circle. The air was cool, filled with the soft sounds of the alien forest waking up. Today was the day Kyra had called the real test. Marcus felt a nervous excitement. He knew this was not a test of strength with weapons, but a test of his heart and mind. Kyra appeared beside him, her eyes bright and steady. "This test is about understanding," she said quietly. "You must show you respect my people and their ways. You must listen carefully, follow the rules, and prove you can be trusted." Marcus nodded, feeling the weight of her words. "I will do my best," he promised. The first part of the test was simple, but difficult. Kyra handed him a small seed from one of the alien plants. "This seed is special," she explained. "It grows only if cared for with patience and respect. You must keep it safe and help it grow." Marcus took the seed carefully. It was small and smooth, shining softly in his hand. He felt its importance immediately. This was not just a plant, but a symbol of trust. For the next few hours, Marcus learned how to care for the seed. Kyra taught him how to water it with a special liquid made from the local flowers. She showed him how to protect it from the strong winds and how to give it light without hurting it. Marcus focused all his attention on the seed. Every small action felt meaningful as they worked. Kyra watched him closely. She saw how Marcus was patient and careful. She saw how he respected the land and the creatures around them. Slowly, her fierce expression softened into something like approval. During breaks, Kyra shared stories of her childhood, growing up among warriors who valued honor above all else. She told Marcus how the seed symbolized more than life it was, a promise between people, a bond that could not be broken. Marcus listened with growing admiration. He realized Kyra's strength was not just in her sharp words or quick reflexes, but in her deep loyalty and love for her people. Her warning from before was part of this loyalty, a way to protect what mattered most. By midday, the seed had been safely planted in a special soil Kyra prepared. Marcus felt proud, but he knew the test was not over. Kyra led him deeper into the forest, where the air grew thick with mystery. They arrived at a large tree with roots spreading wide like ancient arms. Kyra placed her hand on the tree's bark and whispered in her language. Marcus watched as the tree seemed to respond, its leaves shimmering in the light. "This tree is sacred," Kyra said. "It holds the memories of my people. If you want to be part of us, you must promise to honor those memories and protect our future." Marcus placed his hand beside hers, feeling the rough bark under his palm. A strange warmth spread through him, a connection he could not explain. It was as if the tree's strength flowed into him. "I promise," Marcus said sincerely. Kyra smiled softly. "You have passed the first part of the test. You've shown patience, respect, and a true heart." Marcus felt a rush of relief and joy. The fierce woman who had warned him before was beginning to trust him. He knew there were more challenges ahead, but this moment was important. As the sun began to set, painting the sky with colors of fire and gold, Marcus and Kyra sat quietly beneath the great tree. They shared a simple meal and talked about their hopes for the future. Marcus told her about Earth, its beauty, struggles, and dreams. Kyra spoke of her planet's long history and the duty she carried. In that quiet moment, two very different souls found a fragile friendship growing between them. Marcus realized that Kyra's warning was not a threat to scare him, but a sign of her fierce love and loyalty, qualities he deeply respected. When night came, Marcus returned to his ship, with a new feeling inside. The journey was no longer just about exploration. It was about building something stronger, trust, understanding, and maybe even friendship between a human and an alien warrior. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, but for now, Marcus was ready to face them, because he had learned an important truth. Strength is not just about power. It is about respect, patience, and the courage to open one's heart. The morning light spilled softly across the alien landscape as Marcus prepared for the next step in his journey with Kyra. The bond between them was growing stronger, but Marcus knew that trust was fragile. He had seen the fierce warning in Kyra's eyes, and he understood that respect had to be earned every day. Today was another chance to prove himself worthy. Kyra led Marcus to the edge of a wide river, its waters clear but swift. She looked at him seriously. "This river is sacred too, my people. It tests patience and balance. To cross it is to show you can keep calm even when the world tries to pull you under." Marcus studied the river, feeling the power of the water rushing by. It was beautiful, but dangerous. Without hesitation, he stepped closer. "Do?" he asked. "You must cross without fear or rush. Listen to the river, learn its rhythm," Kyra said softly. "If you move too fast or carelessly, you will be swept away." Marcus nodded. He took off his boots and rolled up his pants. The cold water shocked his skin as he stepped in, but he kept his breath steady. Kyra watched silently, her arms crossed, but her eyes sharp. Step by step, Marcus moved through the river, feeling the pull of the current. At times the water tried to push him back, but he adjusted his balance. He remembered Kyra's lessons about patience and respect, that strength was not always about force, but knowing when to bend and when to stand firm. Halfway across, a sudden stronger wave hit him. Marcus almost lost his footing, but caught himself against a rock. He looked up to see Kyra standing on the shore, her face serious but not unkind. "Good," she said. "You didn't give up." When Marcus finally reached the other side, Kyra smiled for the first time that day. "You have shown courage and patience. These are the marks of a true warrior. Marcus felt pride swell in his chest, but he also felt something deeper: gratitude. Kyra's lessons were harsh but honest. He understood now that her fierce warning was part of a bigger promise, a promise to protect and to honor as they walked along the riverbank. Kyra shared stories about her people's history. She spoke of great battles fought not with weapons, but with wisdom and unity. She told Marcus how trust was the strongest armor they wore. Marcus listened closely. He shared his own stories from Earth, tales of explorers and dreamers who had risked everything for peace and knowledge. For a moment, the distance between their worlds seemed smaller. Later, Kyra took Marcus to a hidden garden filled with glowing flowers and gentle creatures. The place felt like a sanctuary, a safe space, in a world that was often harsh and wild. "Here we heal," Kyra explained. "Not just our bodies, but our minds and spirits. Strength without kindness is empty." Marcus knelt by a pool of shimmering water and looked at his reflection. For the first time, he saw not just a human explorer, but someone who belonged somewhere new. He realized that Kyra's warning, "Touch me once and I won't spare you," was about more than danger. It was about fierce protection, loyalty, and love. As the stars began to twinkle in the evening sky, Marcus felt a quiet hope growing inside him. This journey was changing him. It was teaching him that true strength came from respect, understanding, and courage to face the unknown, not with weapons, but with open hearts. Kyra looked at Marcus, her eyes soft but strong. "Tomorrow, we face a challenge that will test everything you have learned," she said. "Are you ready?" Marcus smiled, feeling ready for whatever lay ahead. "I am." Together, they stood beneath the wide sky, two warriors from different worlds united by trust, courage, and the hope for a better future. The day the enemy came was colder than any before. The purple sky was dark, heavy with thick clouds that blocked the sunlight. The Krelthor fleet had arrived, their ships hovering menacingly over the palace city. The people of Varelia rushed to prepare defenses, their faces tight with fear and determination. Princess Liara stood tall on the palace walls, her golden eyes sharp as she watched the enemy approach. Beside her stood Jack. His heart pounded loudly, but his face showed calm. The training and days spent with Liara's warriors had changed. He was no longer just a curious human. He was a fighter now, ready to protect the princess and the planet he had come to love. As the Krelthar warriors landed, chaos erupted. Explosions echoed through the city, and soldiers clashed in fierce combat. Jack moved quickly, using both his human instincts and the techniques Liara had taught him. His creativity surprised many. He used the environment, setting traps and finding weak points in the enemy's armor. Liara commanded her forces with strength and wisdom. Her voice rang clear over the noise, giving orders that saved lives and turned the tide of battle. Soldiers fought harder when they saw their princess leading from the front, her presence inspiring hope and courage. Suddenly, during a fierce fight, near the palace gates, a deadly enemy warrior broke through the lines. Charging straight toward Liara, Jack saw the danger instantly. Without thinking, he threw himself between the princess and the attacker. The enemy's weapons swung down fast, but Jack raised his arm, taking the blow. Pain exploded through him, but he held firm, protecting Liara. Liara's eyes widened in shock and fear. She rushed to Jack's side, her voice trembling. "Jack, are you hurt?" Jack smiled through the pain. "I'm fine. You're safe." "What matters?" Her cheeks flushed a deep pink as she helped him up. In that moment, something unspoken passed between them, a bond deeper than words. Liara felt her heart beat faster, not just with fear or duty, but with something warm and real. The battle continued late into the night. Jack and Liara fought side by side, their teamwork flawless. They moved as one, covering each other's weaknesses and strengthening their strengths. Soldiers who had once doubted the human now cheered his name, inspired by his bravery. As dawn broke, the Krelthor began to retreat. Their forces were beaten and broken, unable to break the palace's defenses. Victory was theirs. The city breathed a collective sigh of relief. In the quiet after the storm, Liara stood with Jack on the palace balcony once more. The sky was soft with morning light, and the air smelled of rain and hope. "Thank you, Jack," Liara said softly. "You've saved my life. You saved us all." Jack shook his head. "We saved each other." Liara looked at him, her golden eyes shining. "You are not just a human explorer anymore. You are a hero of Varelia." Jack smiled, feeling proud but humble. "I'm glad I could help." The palace courtyard filled with cheering citizens. Liara raised her hand, calling for silence. "Today," she began, "we fought not only for our survival, but for the friendship between our worlds. Jack showed us that courage and kindness cross all boundaries. We are stronger together." The crowd erupted in applause. Jack and Liara exchanged a smile, knowing this moment was just the beginning. Their bond had grown through fire and battle, proving that even the most different souls could unite for a greater good. As the sun rose higher, the princess blushed again, this time with pride and something more hope for a future where their worlds could stand side by side, stronger and braver than ever before. The palace was alive with celebration, but beneath the joy, a new feeling blossomed between Jack and Liara. The battle was over, but the journey had just begun. The people of Varelia looked at Jack differently now, not just as a visitor, but as a hero, a friend, and something more. Liara walked through the grand halls of the palace, feeling a strange happiness. She'd always carried the weight of her people's expectations, but now she felt lighter. Now Jack's presence made her world feel bigger and brighter. She found herself smiling more. Her cheeks warmed whenever she saw him. Jack was invited to a special ceremony held in his honor. The palace was decorated with glowing flowers and shimmering banners. The elders and nobles gathered, their eyes curious but respectful. Liara stood beside Jack, proud and confident. "Today," she announced, "we honor Jack of Earth, a brave soul who stood with us when we needed hope the most. His courage and kindness saved lives and reminded us that strength comes not just from power, but from heart." The crowd cheered, and Jack felt a mix of pride and humility. He had never imagined that a simple human like him could earn such respect in an alien world. But he knew the real victory was the friendship he had built with Liara. After the ceremony, Jack and Liara walked through the palace gardens, now peaceful and glowing softly under the moonlight. The flowers that once seemed strange now felt familiar, like part of their shared story. Jack Liara said quietly, "Your world and mine are so different. But you've taught me that even in differences there is strength." Jack smiled, taking her hand gently. "And you showed me the power of honor in tradition. Together, we are better." Their fingers touched, sending a warm spark between them. For a moment, the world outside faded away. It was just the two of them, two souls from different stars. It's connected by trust and something deeper, but the peace was fragile. Liara knew. There were many challenges ahead, political struggles, wary allies, and the threat of new enemies. Yet, she felt ready. With Jack by her side, she believed they could face anything. The next days were filled with meetings and planning. Jack helped Liara prepare for her role not just as a warrior princess, but as a leader who could unite different species. He shared stories of Earth's struggles and triumphs, inspiring new ideas. Liara's court began to change. Old doubts softened. As more people saw the truth in Jack's courage and heart, the idea of humans as allies, not outsiders, slowly took root. One evening, as they watched the stars together from the palace tower, Liara turned to Jack. Her voice was soft, but full of hope. "Will you stay? Will you help me build a future where our worlds can live in peace?" Jack looked at her, the light of the stars reflecting in his eyes. "I will stay, Liara. This is where I belong now." Liara's cheeks flushed pink again, and she smiled shyly. "You are not just a hero. You are part of my world." Jack felt a warmth spread through his chest. He never expected to find such. A connection so far from home, together, They dreamed of a future where humans and Varelians stood side by side, stronger, wiser, and united. As the night deepened, two hands remained, joined a promise of friendship, respect, and the endless possibilities that lay ahead. The palace was calm under the soft glow of the twin moons. After the battle and the celebrations, life on Varelia was slowly returning to normal. But for Jack and Liara, everything had changed forever. Their friendship had grown into something rare and beautiful, something neither had expected. Jack stood on the balcony, looking out at the peaceful city. The crystal towers sparkled in the moonlight, and the soft hum of life filled the air. He thought about how far he had come from a curious explorer to a trusted friend and protector of this strange and wonderful world. Liara joined him quietly, her golden eyes reflecting the stars. She smiled shyly and said, "Jack, you promised you would come back. You kept that promise." Jack turned to her, his heart full. "I promise because I believe in us, our friendship, our worlds. I want to be here, with you." Liara's cheeks colored with a gentle blush. "I never thought a human could make me feel this way, this warmth, this hope." Jack reached out, taking her hand gently. Sometimes the most unexpected things bring the greatest changes. The two stood together, their hands clasped, feeling the quiet strength of their bond. They knew challenges would come, new threats, difficult decisions, and the weight of their responsibilities. But now, they faced the future not alone, but as partners. Liara spoke softly. "Our worlds have been strangers for too long. It is time to build a bridge between your people and mine. Together, we can create peace and friendship." Jack nodded. "I will help you every step of the way. We can learn so much from each other." Their hope was not just for themselves, but for all who lived on Varelia and Earth. They dreamed of a future where humans and Varelians worked side by side, sharing knowledge, culture, and dreams. In the days that followed, Jack took on a new role as ambassador between Earth and Varelia. He and Liara worked together to build trust between their peoples. Meetings were held and agreements made. Slowly but surely, barriers began to fall. Lyra's people began to see humans not as strangers or threats, but as friends and allies. Jack's world started to understand the beauty and strength of Varelia's culture. The once distant stars, now connected in a web of hope. One evening, after a successful diplomatic meeting, Jack and Liara walked through the palace gardens. The glowing flowers swayed gently in the night breeze. Liara looked at Jack with a soft smile. "Do you think this is just the beginning?" she asked. Jack squeezed her hand. "Hey, it's only the start of a new story, one we will write together." Liara blushed again, but looked happier than ever. "I'm glad you're here, Jack. More than you know." Jack smiled warmly. "You too, Liara." "Me too." As the twin moons rose higher, casting their silver light over the peaceful world too. Very different souls stood side by side, ready to face whatever the future held. Their journey had begun with a simple greeting, a quiet "hello, cutie," and it had grown into a powerful friendship that could change the galaxy. In that moment, hope was alive, strong and bright.